Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Abby and today I'm going to start a new series. I wanted to make this series because even though probably most of my followers are going to be seasoned sewists, there probably are going to be some new sewists out there, and people who just randomly find my videos might be new sewists looking to learn. So I wanted to make some quick short videos kind of teaching different lessons of like how to start sewing, what you need, and how to get going, I guess. So today I'm just filming myself changing my thread on my machine. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a bobbin and then how to thread your machine with your bobbin too. So I will be showing the steps on my machine, but most machines are going to be fairly the same in the way they go about making a bobbin and making or threading the machine. So once you learn one machine, you can usually figure out another, unless it's like really high and complicated. But from the basics to like pretty high, the steps are pretty much the same. So I'm going to start by making a bobbin. And if you don't know, oh, my bobbin ran away. But if you don't know, this is just a bobbin holder. This one is empty, just a little plastic piece. And this goes in the bottom of your machine and is the bottom thread of the sewing. I'm gonna use new thread today, just this regular like cream. This is Gutterman thread. So I have to make a bobbin for it because I don't have it. And this bobbin came with my machine, but you can buy bobbins to make extra and like have a ton of extra ones. If you are going to do that, just a fair warning, bobbins do come in slightly different sizes. So if you're not using one that came with your machine, just check to make sure you have the right size or make that fits with your machine, because I've switched like between either my senior, a brother, or Janome. Those are like the three my family has. They can be slightly different in size and it messes up the thread tension and stuff. So just make sure you have the right bobbin size that goes with your machine. And I know this one's okay because it came with my machine. And I have a Singer, so that's what I will be showing you guys today on, is my Singer machine. And my Singer, it is a little more advanced, but not like too much. My first machine was a brother, and basically the steps are all the same. And most machines have little markings on them to help you thread and make a bobbin, but sometimes they're not clear, sometimes they're not on there. So I'm just going to show you guys today the little markings and just show you how to do it in general. So first we're going to start by making the bobbin. All right, so to make the bobbin, I'm showing my machine. I'm first going to just switch it on. All right, and so here at the top on the right side of your machine, you have this little set of bumper and I don't know, pole. You can see there are markings here, and you see that is a little bobbin there, and there is 2 and 3, 4, 5, and these are the steps. But first, number 1 is over here, and this is actually step number 1 for when you're threading your machine too. So first I have my thread in my hand. I'm just going to loop it under there so it's in there, and then the markings say for the bobbin to go around here. I'm going to loop it here and go over to this side. And then this is where you bring in your bobbin. And on the top of your bobbin, you have little holes. You want to put those at the top, and you're going to thread your thread through there. All right, so I got it through. You want to go from the inside. You want to go from the inside of your bobbin to the outside. And then you're just going to stick it on the peg like that, where you have the thread sticking out the top. And then last, you want to just push this over. And then I'm going to hold on to this piece, and then with your pedal, you're going to kind of slowly, and you just let it go. And I just push on the pedal, and it's going to continue making my bobbin. So now I have a completed bobbin, and it stops by itself. Like I can push the pedal and it doesn't really go, so that tells me the bobbin is done. And while it was going, I just had my thread sitting here on the table in the back, and it threads up through here. And so now I'm just going to cut, and there our bobbin is complete. I want to make sure I switch this back, turns it off the bobbin making mode, and just take this off. All right, so I have my completed bobbin. I'm just going to trim this piece hanging out the top. So now I have my completed bobbin, and now I'm going to show you how to put it into your machine. So first I'm going to show you, you want to hold it towards you and you want to make a P with the string. So there's the circle and then the string is hanging down on this side to make a P shape, and that's how you want to hold it when you're putting it in. But I'll show you where on the machine. Down here below your needle and your footer, you want to make sure your footer is up, is your bobbin casing. And you can see it has kind of a symbol of how to put it in, but to get it off, I'm just going to push this little lever over here. It's going to pop this up. I'm going to take this out. And you can look at that for reference, but again, I have the P. I'm going to slide that in there. And then you take the string and cut it up here around this little thing, and then you can cut off the string right there. Once you cut off the string, you just pop this back in and you've threaded your bobbin. So next is just to thread your machine with either the same or different thread. I'm going to use the same thread. You can put your thread, on your machine like here or somewhere else, but I usually just like to keep it on the table. Take your thread, maybe where I'm threading, I just stick it there. But you want to have a good length. So first is the number 1 I already showed you for the bobbin. You're going to put it right back under that hook. But for number 2, you have a little hook on the back side of your machine and an arrow pointing to it. So that is where you're going to go next. You're going to bring it all the way forward towards you. Now on your machine, you're going to have 2 slots. You can see number 3 is right there on the side. You're going to go down here and you're going to hook around this piece hanging off. There's a little 4 and a hook there. And I'm going to come all the way back up here, and this piece should be up. This is connected to the needle. It will go up and down while you're sewing. You're going to go around this. You can see number 5 here at the top, and you want to hook the thread inside of this metal piece, and you're going to go down towards your needle again. All right, so you can't really see, I can't hold the camera and see. So I'm going to go down 3, up 4, around here, and then back down towards my needle. So next, my thread is right here. I have this little hook right here. I'm going to hook it around there to go around the back there. And then next is just to thread your needle. And on the side here, you have a little, most machines have a little piece. This helps you thread your machine. It has a little hook at the bottom here, and it will grab your thread and like pull it through. So if you look, mine doesn't actually really work. If you don't have this, you can literally just take your thread and thread it through the eye of your needle. So I'm going to do that real quick. If you don't have a thread or needle threader, it's fairly simple to thread your needle with just your fingers. You can wet your fingers just to wet the tip of the thread to get a little more stable. Just go through and pull it through. And then after that, I like to put it through my footer. So I just drag the thread through here, through the front and out the back. And then there is your machine all thread. You can test it with spare fabric and like run it through. But once you get the hang of it, you just know it's ready to go. And that is how you thread a machine and make a bobbin. After that, I'm just gonna like take this off and put it on to the table, and I can start sewing from here. Just the tips, you wanna just follow the directions on your machine. Make sure your bobbin is correct. That's usually the hardest one to get. But yeah, follow those steps and it should be fairly simple and easy to get the hang of threading your machine. Again, if you're new to threading and sewing in general, just run a spare piece of fabric through your machine just to make sure you properly thread it and it's looping the way it's supposed to, and you'll eventually get the hang of it real quick and it will seem almost like second nature. And I know people like to make bobbins, like multiple bobbins of the same thread, so they can just pop them in and out when they run out. I just tend to make one as I go. So it's kind of up to the sewist. It's like step number 1 and beginning to sew, having your machine and being able to thread it correctly with your thread, and then you can just start practicing sewing. I hope this has helped anyone who's wanting to start to sew. I hope to be making more helpful videos like this just for anyone who's beginning, wants to know like the basics so they can start experimenting and making their own creations and getting into sewing too. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Look forward to making the next like beginner sewing video, but I will see you guys next time. Until then, have fun sewing. Bye.